What's up? What's up? We're back. We're back. We are back. Welcome, 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 welcome. Again, it's the Sammie Nicole and FeeFee show. Y'all, we hitting y'all back to back. Y'all getting a 2-for-1 special, okay? Do not play. We are hitting y'all back to back to back to back. All right, y'all. So I am coming back. It's your girl, Sammie Nicole and FeeFee show. We are a dynamic and the only dynamic mother-daughter duo here on YouTube. And on our channel, we absolutely love discussing all things love, life, relationships, and a little bit of pop culture as well from both the millennial perspective, myself, Sammie Nicole, and the Gen X perspective, my oh so beautiful mother, FeeFee. So, y'all, I am coming back again tonight, y'all. If you did not watch the live I just did a few minutes ago, please go back and watch that. Just talking about Glorilla, Quad and King, Savannah Guthrie, all that good stuff. Hey, my Ty, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I did go live earlier today, so if you missed the live from earlier today, please go back after this live. After this live, all right, please go back after this live ends and catch that live. Um, and let me know what you think. Okay, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna go ahead and create a post, letting everybody know that we are back. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody is doing well. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody is doing well. Okay. I hope y'all are staying warm. It was real windy here in the ATL. It was sunny. It was beautiful out, but it was very, very windy and cold. Okay. Very windy and very cold. So I hope everybody had a good Saturday. I hope you all are enjoying your weekend. And we got to discuss part two of this Drop the Low interview that Evelyn Lozada and her daughter did um, with her baby daddy, the game. We got to talk about it. Because just when I thought it couldn't get worse, it did. We gotta talk about it, y'all. We gotta talk about it, okay? We got to talk about it, okay? We gotta talk about it. All right. So boom, I let everybody know that we back live again. As you're coming into the live, please hit the like button. As you're coming into the live, please hit the like button. If you know anybody who might like the content, that may like the channel, please share, share, share. Thank you, my Ty, for double tapping. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. All right. Everything we're gonna be saying tonight on the Sammie Nicole FeeFee show is allegedly. Everything we're gonna be saying tonight on the Sammie Nicole and FeeFee show is allegedly. Cause why? We don't know these people. Okay, we don't know these people. So that's why everything we saying tonight is allegedly. We just sharing our opinions, our observations. We just having a little kiki tonight, okay? I'm just following up. Shout out to Living Proof. Living Proof asked me if I watched part one, if I watched part two of the Drop the Low podcast. I said, yes, girl, I did. Let me come back on live because I know we've been gone for a minute. So we back in our bag again with the consistency. So we doing a 2-for-1 special tonight. And let's discuss part two of this Drop the Low interview. Okay. Again, it got worse, my time. The game on part two of the interview, he told Shaniece that he admitted, excuse me, that he does not change the baby's diaper. He said he told Shaniece before she had the baby that he was not going to be changing no diapers. And he also told Shaniece that when a baby is that small, he doesn't really believe that the dad should take the baby for long periods of time. He doesn't feel comfortable taking a baby from the mother when they're small like that. Hey, living proof. I said part two, you could really feel the sense of deep, deep, deep regret and the worry, the thought of worry that read, I don't know if this nigga is gonna be able to be a good father to my son. I'm just gonna say it. Sorry for using the N word, but you could tell Shaniece really, really had that thought like, is this nigga gonna really be a good father to my child or not? You can just tell she had a lot of regret and a lot of remorse about having a child by the game. Um, the game is just ignorant. He's just an ignorant nigga, And oh, and usually I say ninja, I say naker, but the nigatry was so strong. I just had to say the real word. Y'all forgive me. YouTube, please forgive me. Everybody, please forgive me. It's Black History Month. I'm sorry, y'all. Just ignorant. Just ignorant, ignorant, ignorant. And the more he talked and he explained himself and the ideology of why he felt the way he did, and Evelyn cackling in the background, you could just see over Shanice's face, her body language was just like, ugh, I gotta do the next 18, 21 years with this ninja. Like, ugh, just regret, you know? Like, if you ever dealt with a man and you just look at him with regret, and you can tell that Shaniece is trying to stay positive and pull it together because obviously she wants her son to have his father in his life. She wants to co-parent and she's trying to heal and evolve from the situation. But you can tell that she's concerned. And then also, let me let me see what y'all saying before I make this statement. Let me see what y'all saying. Y'all hit the like button and hit the like button. Be in the chat, please hit the like button. If you're watching the replay, hey replay gang, please hit the like button. Natasha said, not a surprise. He is such a misogynist fool indeed. Living Proof said he was so dismissive and disrespectful. Yes, he was. Living Proof said exactly the clicks were going off in real time. My side said all of that is bonding something. It is, but he said that he doesn't change diapers. He not doing that shit. And he feels like because the baby is still, I think their baby is like 15, 16 months. He was just like, I don't feel comfortable taking the baby with me. So basically that gives me the impression that if he gets the baby for a few hours and then he's dropping him back off with Shaniece. Maybe he's keeping the baby long enough for her to teach a yoga class because she is a yogi, and then he's sending little tuka butt because he gonna grow up to be a tuka butt. Just seeing how Shaniece is, not saying that she's not gonna be a good mother because I can tell she is, but baby Blaze is gonna grow up to be a tuka butt. I can just already tell the way Shaniece is moving and just given the situation, he gonna be a little tuka butt. He gonna be a beautiful tuka butt, but he gonna be a tuka butt nonetheless. Okay. The game, yeah, she wasted her womb. She did. She did. And I feel like too, y'all, I feel like the game, all of his love and admiration and warm, fuzzy, goo goo gaga feelings, I think those feelings are reserved for Callie, his daughter. And I just don't think the game is going to love Shanice's son the same way that Shaniece loves her son and the way that she wants her son to be loved. And the reason I say that is because in listening to the interview, you can tell that the game, he believes in, you know, the game believes in raising his boys differently than he raised his daughter. Okay. He believes in raising his boys different from how he raises his daughter. When he talks about his 15, what is she, 14, 15-year-old daughter, she's his only girl, Callie Dream. He talks about her with so much warmth, so much love, and so much pride. Like, he gloats about how she looks just like him, and, she's the love of his life and his baby girl, and he loves her, loves her, loves her. And you can just tell that Callie is the apple of his eye. I mean, he even went so far to slip up and refer to her as the baby, and it's like, it's almost like he's grouped his kids, separate from Blaze. Like, he cares about Blaze, but you can tell that emotional connection is just not, it's not as deep and it's not as solid as his emotional connections are with his other kids. It's just not. And especially when it comes to Callie, you can tell that he's more emotionally connected and bonded and closer to his daughter Callie. And maybe because she is the only girl, I don't know, but it just seems like he, he doesn't seem, you don't, his eyes don't light up the same way they do when he talks about Callie Dream. I feel like when he's talking about his daughter Callie Dream, his eyes light up as opposed to how they don't light up as much as they do about baby Blaze. Like, you can tell he loves Blaze, and he feels proud and happy that he has a pretty baby with blue eyes. He gets off on that. But outside of that, just being to say, I have this beautiful baby, and yeah, people are coming up to me and asking me if you know our son is AI because he's just so perfect and he's just so beautiful. Outside of that, it don't really seem like he have that much of a connection with the baby. It's like he talks about the baby like he's somebody else's child in a way. Like, it just doesn't seem like he's really had that time to develop that bond with baby Blaze. So I'm just very curious. Like, I would love to know, like, how much time do you really spend with this baby? Because the way you talk about him, it's like, yeah, I trust Shaniece and she's handling it. She's the mom. And, basically, like, she's got it. And I'm just, I fit in, I get in where I fit in. It doesn't really seem like he's dealing with that baby on a day to day basis. And matter of fact, I'm going to go out to say, I know he's not, because during the interview, Shanice, she mentioned how she felt a lot of sadness and she felt a lot of regret because she said, when she goes to like birthday parties or if she's in the grocery store, she would feel some type of way because, she would see the mom and dad at the birthday party, with the child and getting things set up and situated. Or if she was at the grocery store, she sees the dad helping the mom with the children. And she's like, here I am at the grocery store by myself with the stroller, with the baby, having to put all my groceries and stuff in my car, and then I got to put my baby in the stroller and everything in the car, and the baby in the car seat, and I'm doing it on my own. And she made a comment. She was like, and this is on a even more recent podcast that she did. She was just talking about um how she felt like if she had a partner, if she had a significant other, she would be unstoppable. She would be much farther in life. And so you can just tell that she is really grieving the life that she thought she would have, with the game and what she thought that her family would look like. It's just you can sense the sadness, like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I have to do this on my own, and this is not what I wanted for myself. But again, this is the mistake that we make as women. We could see a man's pattern and see how he did, 50, 11 women before us. But for whatever reason, as women, we just believe that we are so special and that we are the exception to the rule, and that said man won't do us like he did the last woman. And that's just not the case. It never really is. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Um, Living Proof said, as a Gen X mother of a 33-year-old daughter, I was disgusted at her mother, Evelyn. I could not imagine my daughter waiting to have a child, and I, as her parent, being so cavalier about her experience. It is evident that he did not want to be a parent again. I think he is infatuated with having an exotic baby with a baddie. Yeah, Shy fell in love with the storyline she had in her head about parenthood. Natasha says Shaniece is dumb. Who would think Game is a good man? Okay, y'all both on point with it. Y'all both on point with it. Okay, yeah. Living proof. I feel like again with Evelyn, Evelyn had Shanice at 17 years old. And I remember in an interview when they were interviewing Evelyn and asking her about being a teenage mom and stuff like that. And they were like, oh, how did you meet Shaw's dad? Like, who is he? And Evelyn, she was cavalier talking about Shanice's father. She was like, oh yeah, some dude from Brooklyn, I was messing with, some dude from Brooklyn. So I feel like because, you know, Evelyn had such a rough upbringing and she struggled and went through a lot as a single mother. Her mother wasn't really the most affectionate and nurturing to her. So it's like almost like does she even have the ability, the capacity to be loving and nurturing towards Shanice as she's going through this? Because I feel like sometimes when you have women who go through traumatic things and then they see their daughters go through it, they just kind of feel like, okay, you'll be all right. Like I got through it and you'll get through it too. Sometimes they have that numbness to them, or they're just apathetic to where they really can't be nurturing, because when they were going through it nobody was nurturing or apathetic towards them, so, or empathetic, excuse me, towards them. So they feel like, okay, well, I went through it, you're going through it now, you'll be all right. And I feel like because Evelyn is a single mother and has always been a single mother, I don't think she obviously doesn't know anything else. You know what I mean? So it's like naturally you would think as a mother she'd be like, okay, I want better for my daughter. But I think because it's all she knows, and she comes from women having to do it on their own and be in survival mode. I just don't think she really has it in her to give Shanice the support that she needs right now, because nobody really taught her how to do it. I think if Evelyn would have had a mother that was a little bit more emotional with her and able to really connect with her and nurture her during that time of her life, maybe she would have handled Shanice differently. But I just don't think she have it in her. I really, really don't. I don't. And then Evelyn is full of herself too, you know? She's full of herself. So I think unfortunately this is just a lesson that Shanice is gonna have to she's gonna have to heal herself through on her own, or outsource the support from somebody other than Evelyn. Because all Evelyn knows is survival. We know Evelyn is allegedly, she was a get it how you live type of woman. So she's not thinking about that emotional stuff. You can tell that she doesn't really know how to connect with Shanice on a deep, deep emotional level. You can tell that Shanice is more emotional and definitely more sensitive and in touch with her feelings than both her mother and the game. And unfortunately, because she's used to the dynamics with her mom, I think it was so easy for her to get into it made it much easier for her to get into the relationship dynamic with the game, because she even said during the first part of the interview that when she met the game, he reminded her so much of her mother, which I thought was very, very deep and profound, which made me kind of understand why she would be attracted to the game. Because initially I was like, the game? I was like, girl, you could have did so much better than the game. Like, it's so many other fine football players. Girl, you could have got with Darnell Dockett. Another big, fine black man, muscular that, might that really got that thing that probably be thinging, and got money and got it going on, and that's older and actually calm and about his business and seasoned. You didn't have to settle for the game. You know what I'm saying? But when Shaniece said that the game reminded her of her when the game reminded her of her mother, I was like, "Oh, okay. That's why she's attracted to him, because she's already been groomed and made accustomed to that type of dynamic. So when she got with the game, it wasn't too foreign to her, because she's already dealt with that personality type with her mother. So that's why she was so naturally attracted to the game. And then too, Shaniece, like you said, Natasha, Shaniece is very beautiful. Don't get me wrong. She's very beautiful. I mean, hands down, nobody can take that away from her. But I think we all can agree that, Shanice is not the brightest crayon in the box, right? She's not the brightest crayon in the box, right? We wouldn't look to her to help us get out of an escape room or help us solve a complex word problem, right? And what, in the society that we live in, that's okay, right? A lot of times you really don't have to be the smartest person to be successful in this society. We know that for a fact. I mean, look who we have in high offices in our country. You don't have to be intelligent. A lot of times you just have to have the right look, and you got to have the coin. You know what I mean? So, I just say that to say, yeah, she's not the brightest crayon in the box, right? And I think that, with that being said, she's green. And we talked about that in the first time, and I feel like with her dealing with the game, I definitely felt like his talk game was on a certain level, right? And we know the game is a rapper. So we know that he knows how to, he's a wordsmith, right? He's a lyricist. So he knows, how to make his words flow and sound good. And, with Shanice not being the brightest crown in the box, and, she doesn't have a Marjorie Harvey in her corner. She has the Evelyn Lozada. And just as a side conversation, just going off on a tangent. If Shanice had a Marjorie Harvey in her corner, she would be unstoppable. She would be freaking unstoppable. If Shanice had a Marjorie Harvey in her corner as opposed to an Evelyn Lozada, baby, she'd probably be married to a tech billionaire. Or Byron Cage, or what's that black billionaire that donated, no, that paid all of the what was one graduating class from Morehouse College, and he canceled out all their debt. He paid it all off in their parents' debt. She could have been with somebody like that, a billionaire, if she had a Marjorie Harvey in her corner. She would have had somebody teach her the game, and, take her up under their tutelage and guide her and help her. And she would have been a doggone beast, a straight beast, but she had an Evelyn. And so she really didn't know better. She really didn't know as much as she thought she did. And I think that the game knew that. He saw that. He was able to assess that. and he had a good talk game. And I think he got inside her head, and because her discernment is not the best, is not the strongest, she fell for it. And it's unfortunate, but it's a lesson learned. And two, she has another lesson that she needs to learn from this is accountability, because she already saw how things played out with his first two children's mother. And once again, her being beautiful, her being exotic, her thinking that she would be the exception to the rule, that he would change. And she even said it during the second part of the interview. She said, "Yeah, I know you told me that you don't change diapers before the baby got here, but I thought that you would change." How many times have we made that mistake as women, where we get into a situation with a man and we think that, oh, he'll change. Oh, he'll come around. Oh, it'll be different. Once this happens, once the baby gets here, or once we get married, he'll change. He'll do a 180. That's a common mistake and a common thought that we have as women that usually never turns out to our benefit. And so I just think that she was under that impression, like it'll be different. He's older, he'll, behave better. And the game is like, no, I am who I am. And he pretty much said in the interview, he was like, I'm very stubborn. And he was like, that's something that I have to work on. I have to make sure that I'm able to hear the other person out, and that it's not always my way or the highway. So he knows that's something that he needs to work on. Had Shaniece had a Marjorie Harvey, in her corner, she would have never looked twice at the game. And even if she did, she darn sure wouldn't have had no baby for him. I bet you that. She would have did her little 1-2, see what it was hitting for, if that thing was thinking or not, and she would have went on about her business. She would have did with Lori Harvey. She messed around with Future. She saw what it was hitting for with Future. Then she got the hell on. Okay? She got the hell on. She ain't had no baby for him. She went on about her business. And that's what Shanice should have did. Okay, let me see what y'all talking about. Offensive thoughts said the game is washed up. Some people romanticize parenthood. Yeah. And she thought that she was gonna have a family with the game. Like you can really tell she's hurt and she's disappointed. Like she really thought this man was going to turn over a new leaf. I don't know what the game was saying to that girl, but he was putting that talk game on her, because you can really tell that she still feels that sense of shock. Like, what the heck did I get myself into? This situation is not turning out the way I thought that it would have. You can just tell it's still a struggle for her to cope with her reality. Let me see. Living Proof said yes when she said she was used to seeing that spirit of her parents. Yeah, talking about the game. My side says sometimes we need beauty. Yes, we do. We do. Beauty is definitely a tool. It's definitely a tool that can be used for sure. Let me see. Natasha said, I think the game really wanted Evelyn, but he's too broke for Evelyn, so he just got the next best thing, her daughter. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I mean, even with the body language, you can tell that there's still like tension, and that there's still some things that are unresolved between Shanice and the game. And I think that's also a part of the reason why you see, even in like the thumbnails of the pictures that he took, he's leaning more so towards Evelyn than he is Shanice. Do I think he finds Evelyn attractive, even though he says he doesn't? Absolutely. Do I think that if Shanice wasn't in the picture, him and Evelyn would have like a one off or something? Absolutely. I do. Um, But I also think that there's still some underlying tension, obviously, between the game and Shaniece. And I think it's much easier for him and more comfortable for him to communicate with Evelyn as opposed it is to Shaniece, because it's just a lot of distance between them. And even when they were like talking about what they were gonna name the baby, and Shaniece was saying, she was like, when I was pregnant with the baby, I was so emotional. My emotions were all over the place. And, I was so in love with you that I was thinking about, I wanted to name the baby Jason. I was going to name the baby Jason. But the game was like, no, his name is going to be Blaze. I want his name to be Blaze. And during the interview, Shaniece was like, thank God that we named him Blaze and not Jason. And the game was like, why? She was like, because I have to always have to call him your name. Like, I have to constantly be saying your name all day, throughout my house. Jason, Jason. And, the game was like, well, we should have named him that then, ha ha ha. And so you can just tell, like, she has that feeling like, dang, like, this is the ninja I chose to be the father of my child. Like, this is the man that is going to have to teach my son how to be a man. And you can just tell that Shanice is a little worried. Like, mm, I don't think this ninja gonna be the best one to teach my baby boy how to be a man. He's still, like Tony Gaskin say, a grown boy his damn self. He hasn't fully yet transitioned into being a man. He still has grown boy tendencies himself. And so when she was asking him the certain questions about, you know, life and what motivates him and things of that nature, you can tell she was trying to get him to think a little bit deeper and go beyond the surface about what legacy he wants to leave for all his kids. And it just seems like he's not as mature as she thought he would be. Like, I think she thought she was dealing with a grown ass man, and he put that okey doke on her. And she's realizing, like, in doing this podcast interview with him, what his true core beliefs and ideologies are. And I don't think this is all the stuff that she knew prior to getting pregnant. It's like she's actually starting to get to know him and get to see him for who he really is. Now that the baby is going on 15, 16 months now. And unfortunately, for a lot of women, they don't really know, what type of man they're dealing with until after they've already had a child by him. And I just think she just has buyer's remorse really bad. And I have it for her too. Because she could have got a billionaire. I mean, and I'm not saying that she still can't get an amazing, highly, rich or wealthy guy. She could still do it. But I think that it's gonna be a little bit more challenging. She could pull off a Sierra for sure. For sure. But I just think it's gonna be a little bit more challenging because now she has to heal from this relationship. And then she's gonna have to deal with the game. And the game is kind of ignorant. Not kind of, he is. I mean, even when Evelyn brought up, what happens if Shanice gets married again? And the game is pretty much saying, well, the Evelyn was like, well, what if Shanice gets married in the next year? Like, how are you going to handle that? What does that look like? Co-parenting? And he pretty much was like, I highly doubt she'll get married within the next year. First off, Negro, who is you to say if I'll get married in the next year or not? He tried it. And then he was like, yeah, because most men are like, yeah, you're beautiful. Yeah, I like you. But, I'm going to have to deal with that ninja, the game. And I'm going to have to deal with him and, whatever comes with that. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, ain't nobody scared of you. Ain't nobody scared of you. Maybe them little YNs in Compton, because you one of the OG alleged blood members, gang members allegedly. But ain't nobody else like got fear in their heart for you like that. Like, boy, stop. But he was basically saying like she may have a hard time getting remarried again because of him. Because whoever she gets with, that guy is gonna think twice about dealing with her and what all comes with it because of who her child's father is. And I just felt like if that wasn't a narcissistic comment, I don't know what what was. It was like, nigga, what? Who are you? Like, ain't nobody thinking about you like that. Like, you ain't finna stop nobody motion to think you had that much power. Boy, bye. She probably got ninjas in her inbox now. Like, babe, I ain't got no problem being stepdaddy. And if push come to shove, I'll adopt little baby Blaze. Like, boy, he just had a lot of audacity. It really irritated me and my soul. He just had a lot of audacity. Like, nigga, who do you think you are? Like, boy, bye. Let me read y'all comments. My Ty said, and I don't like you like that anymore. Yeah, that's what it was given. It's given she really can't stand his ass, but she trying to do the best she can to save face and be cordial for the baby. But you can just tell like the bitterness and the resentment and the disappointment because I'm pretty sure like most ninjas like him do, he made a lot of promises that he knew when he was making those promises his ass would not be able to keep. And you can tell that Shaniece feels a way about it. And understandably so. You sharing your body with a man, you make the choice to share your womb with a man and continue his legacy. You literally put your life on the line to bring forth life for a man, and he treats you like you're just one of his cut buddies or friends with benefits and doesn't really have any regard for how you feel and shows more admiration and interest and attraction towards your own mother than he does you, that would piss anybody off and make them feel some type of way. And you can tell that Shanice is at war with herself. It's like in some instances you can tell she probably want to go off on him and let him have it, and who's to say that she hasn't done it already privately. But you can also tell that she's trying her best to be cordial with him for the sake of her son, but she don't like that man like that. Let me see. Mata says she doing the homework she should have done before dropping it low. Mata, I love that. Mata says she doing the homework she should have done before dropping it low. I love that. Baby, let me put the clock it in the chat. You ate with that. You ate with that, Mata. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's what she should have done. She should have done her homework. She really should have. And like I said, she has a lot of regrets. I mean, it just got worse on part 2 because you could really see the regret. Like, damn, what did I get myself into? Like, this guy is a jerk. And the game kind of reminds me of Cam Newton. He's one of them niggas who just be saying anything and but think they really saying something profound. And I can't stand ninjas like that. I can't stand ninjas like that, you know, they really be saying a bunch of mumbo jumbo combo shumbo. But in their mind, they really think that they dropping knowledge. And it's just like, you ignorant MF, you are not talking about anything of substance or value. You just talking to hear yourself talk. And because you're hearing yourself talk, you really think you're saying something of substance and you're not. And I just think that's how the game is. Like, he's full of himself. And I think that again, if Shanice would have had a Marjorie Harvey in her corner, she would have seen the game for his works. And I think she would have been able to avoid the situation without a baby. And even if she would have got pregnant, she would have did what she needed to do to take care of it. Sorry. So I just felt like she's a beautiful girl that doesn't really have anybody teaching her and guiding her. She's definitely the type of girl that needs somebody to guide her and tell her what to do, because her discernment, that wisdom, it, it just wasn't where it needed to be. Now, do I think that discernment and that wisdom is going to kick in now? Hell yeah, I do. I do. That discernment and that wisdom, it's most definitely going to kick in now, because now she doesn't have any choice. Now she's a mother, you know? Now she has somebody depending on her, and she knows that, she has a baby with a man who is not the best. And so because he's not the best, she's going to have to pick up a lot of slack. So I hope that Shaniece has a good community around her, because it seemed like the game want to be bothered with the baby when it's convenient. The game is the type of daddy where he like, okay, once he potty trained and he can talk good enough, then he can stay the night with me. But until then, I'm gonna get him for a few hours, and then I'm gonna bring little Tuka butt back home. Like that's pretty much what he was implying throughout the interview when he was talking about the baby, talking about something he don't believe in taking the child away from its mother. Nigga, that's your son. Why are you talking about him like you're a third party? That's your son. I know men who, had babies with women, and at the time that the babies were born, they weren't with the woman, and they still took the baby overnight. All the mama did was pumped enough breast milk, and that man took that baby, that overnight bag, that diaper bag, and he watched his child, took care of his child. So I feel like that's no excuse. He changed the diapers, bathed the baby. So there's no excuse for the game. He just is trifling in that sense and didn't want to do it. So it's just a lot of regrets. A lot of regrets, and I hate that for her. Let me see. My side said, "Oh Lord, not Cam." Yes, girl. I'm so disappointed. I really hate that Cam Newton got a podcast and started opening up his mouth and talking. Because when he just used to play football and be quiet, I had the biggest crush on him. The biggest crush. I remember one time I seen Cam Newton. Me and my mama, we was walking down to Cumberland, and I saw Cam Newton. He was walking into Cumberland Mall with his current baby mama Jasmine, and he was huge, y'all. He like a little baby giant. Cam Newton is huge. He is a big, big ninja. Huge. Huge, huge. But yeah, y'all, it just really hurt my feelings once Cam Newton started talking. It just messed up the fantasy for me. It really did. Let me see. My side also said, I hope she learned her lesson and she really grows from this. I hope she is very selective about her choices. I hope so too. I hope that, maybe she can have a Sierra outcome where, she learns from her lesson and she does a complete 180. Because even though, and I feel like too, I feel like the game is hoping that she doesn't meet a better man than him, even though he's making it sound like they're cool, and they just want to do what's best for baby Blaze, and yada yada yada. Y'all watch once Shaniece get her new man. Let it be serious with that new man. The game gonna cut a fool. Watch. He gonna be on social media hollering, yelling, screaming, acting a ghetto fool, talking about she not letting me see my son. She trying to keep my son away from me. Watch. Watch. I think he knows that Shaniece can have a man by midnight today. By midnight today. But I think he's trying to plant that seed of doubt in her mind that she won't be able to. And I also think that he's low key hoping that she doesn't meet a man anytime soon, because then that would really solidify that he wouldn't have any more access to her as his baby mama. Because he already said how, guys get off on getting beautiful women pregnant and making them their baby mama. And, a lot of guys like him, they feel like, once you become their baby mama, they have access to you for a lifetime. If they want to come back and spin the block and be intimate with you, they feel like they can. So it's just unfortunate that Shaniece became the third baby mama to the game. But she still has a chance to meet a good man, and he could be an awesome stepfather to her child. And I hope she does, just despite the game. Because how dare you try to speak over her life and say it's highly unlikely for her to get married next year? You don't know what God can do in a person's life. You just don't know. And I just feel like the minute that she does meet a new man and it gets serious, he gonna act the fool, y'all. Mark my words. He gonna be throwing little subliminals, being passive aggressive, if not coming for her straight out. And we're gonna see the little posts on the shade room, the neighborhood talk, and TikTok and everywhere else. When she do get her a man, he ain't gonna be so laid back. I feel like he's only acting so calm, cool, collected, and laid back because she's still hurt and she's still trying to heal and move on from the situation. But once she's healed and she move on and she start dating other men, I think he's gonna cause some problems. I do. He's gonna try to act like he's cool at first, but I think he's gonna be real passive aggressive and then just go straight aggressive. I do. My Ty said I've heard guys say they don't want to take their daughters, but never a son. Yeah. He said when a baby is that young, he doesn't feel comfortable taking it from its mom. I'm like, girl, I was like, that's your son. You have two older sons, so you know what it's like. You know what it's like. And like somebody said earlier in the chat, it he told Shaniece that he did want to have another child and that he pretty much manifest Blaze. But I think he just, like you said, somebody else said in the chat earlier, he likes the idea of having a quote unquote exotic, beautiful baby. He liked the idea of, breeding Shaniece. But I don't think he actually was in love with the reality of dealing with and taking care of a baby on a day-to-day basis, because he basically leaves the onus of that work to Shaniece. And that's why she was talking about how birthday parties and just being in the grocery store and seeing two parents with their small child is so triggering for her, because it's something that she wanted that she does not have. So I don't know. It's unfortunate to see, women go through stuff like that. But like I said, she has to learn. And I think this situation is forcing her to really grow up and evolve and to take the rose colored glasses off. Because now she doesn't have a choice but to do so. So it's going to be interesting to see how their co parenting relationship evolves over the years as Blaze is growing up. I wish them the best for Blaze's sake, but you can tell she has buyer's remorse. Like, if she could return, if Game was addressed and she could return his ass back to Saks Fifths or Neiman Marcus and get her money back, she would. That's what it's given. That's what it's given. So yeah, y'all, that's my 2 cents on part 2 of Drop the Low podcast with the game. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And I'll leave y'all with this. Y'all already know this, but if anybody don't know, please don't think that you are the exception to the rule dealing with these men. Yes, it's important to see yourself as the best thing since sliced bread and special and all of that is great. But that's something that you think and you hold on to for you. Don't assume that these men see you that way and that they're going to treat you any differently. Because has Shaniece had somebody like a Marjorie Harvey in her life, They would have told her, okay, you see how he did the first two baby mamas. Are you ready for him to do you the same way as the third baby mama? Right? And then she could have actually, you know, used the opportunity to do her due diligence and research him and really see what he was about, you know? But that also lends a point to why it's so important, no matter how you look, to have a strong mind and not be easily swayed. Even if somebody has a good talk game, you can still remain steadfast and not get caught up. So I don't know, y'all. Let me see. Somebody said Liverpool said more like Walmart. My tat my tie said return to sender. Yes, girl. Yes. If she could return that purchase, she would. And I hope that the game is a good father, because you can tell that Shaniece is like, she loves her baby as she should. And she was just kind of, you can tell like the question she was asking him, like, I hope my baby is gonna be okay with you. Like, I don't want my son to, think the way that you think. So either way, it was a good educational moment. I think there's some lessons in love, going back to our lessons in love series, that we can definitely learn from this whole Shanice in the game situation. So, you know, you live and you learn. And I think this is a great opportunity for Shanice to grow up. And I think this situation is going to grow her up. I don't think she'll ever be this naive again. I don't think. So I definitely think she'll make different choices, hopefully. So that's that, y'all. That's that. Let me see. Living proof said it's as if she cannot believe this is her life. Yes, living proof. Yes. Sis can't believe it. She can't look, she can't even believe it. We can't believe it, and she can't believe it. I mean, I know when I found out she was pregnant for him, I was like, "What? I know you lying. I know you lying. What? Shanice? By the game? What?" She can't believe it, child. We can't either. We have secondhand embarrassment and feel regretful. Not to say her baby is not a blessing, because he is, and things happen as they should in his life, but it was like, what? The game? Girl, you could have did better than him. Like, he ain't even popping like that. If anything, him having a baby by you is making him more relevant again, actually. So it's just crazy. My side said, I was thinking, this is not my life. Yes. This is not my life, baby. She like Shirley talking on the phone to Nesto. This is not my life. What ain't your life, Shirley? This jail stuff. This jail stuff. Baby. Shirley said, this is not my life. This jail stuff. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. That ninja really took Shirley down. I don't blame her. This jail stuff. This jail stuff. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. It's just too much. It's just too much on the nervous system. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I get it. I get it. I get it. 100%. I get it. So yeah, y'all. So that's my 2 cents, y'all. I hope y'all have a good night. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. My replay gang. Before you leave, please double tap the screen, hit the like button before you leave. Please double tap the screen and hit the like button. Please like, share, share, share. And I'll see y'all later, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you guys for joining, rocking with me tonight, so we could discuss part 2 of this Drop the Low, the game, Evelyn, and Shanice interview, y'all. And I'll catch y'all later. Love y'all. Have a great Saturday night. Bye. Hit the like button. Peace out, y'all. Bye bye.